Hey guys, Dylan here from Iceberg TV. Today we're going to be checking out a Gyropalooza 2025 exclusive. We have the Plasma Echo in the house. This is a 5.5, 1.5 turn with a 1 fade mid-range. This is potentially like the Buzz SS type disc in the MVP lineup. Historically for me, this disc right here, the Hex, is kind of supposed to be that like neutral, dead straight mid-range. But historically for me, it hasn't necessarily flown like that. So I'm really hoping I can get a little bit more flip and turn out of the Echo than I can the Hex. Before we get into today's video, I just do want to give a quick shout out to burgersdiscsports.com. Use my code ICE20 at checkout to save 20%. We have these marked down through December, the lowest price we've ever had them at. So if you've ever been on the fence about getting a V4, we have mint, we have black, running out of mint very quickly, but we still have some on the site. If you've ever been on the fence, go check one out. This is the lowest price we've ever had them at, so go check one out. Use my discount for 20% off. So today we are going to be comparing this Echo to 4 other mid-ranges. We obviously have the Hex, we've got the Detour, we've got a Matrix, and we have a Theory. Theory is one of my favorite understable mid-ranges from MVP that I feel like they could have some success with if they decide to bring it back in the future. So we'll throw the Gyropalooza Echo last, and yeah, let's give everything a quick toss. Starting off with my Theory. Having a really nice hyzer flip popping up early in the flight. That's the type of disc that you can just throw down dead straight tunnels because it wants to flip, get to flat really quickly, and then it kind of just holds the line. Now I've got the Detour here. That was crushed. Same kind of action out of the Detour, wanting to get you that nice flip early in that early to mid stage of the flight, getting to flat and then sort of holding the line. It's exactly what you want in an understable mid. Matrix, remember this disc being pretty straight, but I'm curious to see how it compares to those discs. Wow, surprisingly similar. It's very flat. For that reason, not gliding as much, getting a little bit extra fade back to the left at the end. I'm actually surprised at that Matrix. That was a really nice flight. Might have to start playing with that a little bit more. This is the Hex. I have been throwing a little bit harder lately. That Hex actually flipped up more than it ever has before. Never been a huge Eclipse Hex guy, but that actually flipped up a surprising amount, but it still had a nice Matrix-esque fade back at the end. And this is the Echo. Now, when I tested this disc out with Broderick, we did find that this is potentially the most stable run of Echo they've ever come out with. As you can see, that had more fade than any of those other discs, even the Matrix. Let's go grab everything and we'll throw it back this way. And if you want to save 10% on any of these discs, discgolfdealsusa.com/icebergtv. Make sure you use my link in the description below or go to that exact URL. That'll guarantee you get yourself the best price. You're going to get yourself that additional 10% off on your purchase at checkout. All right, so far, I'm actually pretty surprised. I did not get the flights I was expecting out of everything, and I certainly did not expect this Echo. Although Broderick and I found this to be stable for Echoes in general, I didn't expect it to be the most stable mid-range of the bunch. We got to give everything a few more throws. Also, if you've never thrown the Theory, I would highly recommend trying to seek one out. Local used bins, Facebook pages. You usually can get them used for not super expensive, but just a really nice flying mid. Just ultra dead straight. That was the Detour before the Detour existed. It's actually slightly flippier than the Detour. I don't know the actual flight numbers, but I'd say it flies like a -2.5, -3. Very easy to get to pop up and turn. This is the Detour. Oh, the Detour's turning up and over the bridge. So Detour finding a lot of turn. We expected that. We got the matrix here. I'm trying to throw these a little bit flatter to see kind of how we're flying. The matrix is sneaky good. I'm actually really into that matrix. It's also super flat and feels really nice in a forehand grip. This is the hex. Flying nice and straight with a little fade. And then we've got, try the echo a little bit more flat. See if it wants to turn at all for me today. Oh yeah, a little bit. It's one of those mid-ranges I can just hammer super hard, super flat, and it's gonna basically go straight all the way to the ground. But the angle of the disc isn't necessarily flipping or deviating during that early to mid-flight that we were talking about earlier. Very point and shoot, which is not a bad thing. Now, me personally, I didn't get a ton of like useful discs in my Gyropalooza box. I got, especially in the driver category, I got a ton of just wildly understable distance drivers. I'm curious, how did you guys do in your Gyropalooza boxes? I personally didn't get a ton of discs that are super useful to me, except for obviously the Echo, the Particle, and then maybe the Wave. The Wave was even really, really understable as well. So let me know, did you guys do well in your gyro boxes, or what was your experience this year? I feel like my experience last year, I got way better stuff. But let me know how you did in the comments down below. All right, I thought I lost the detour, but it found its way down into the water. We're gonna go down and grab it so we can throw it 2 more times with everything else. Water's a lot higher than usual though. It looks very pretty. All right, I've got you guys set up here. We've got like a low ceiling. We're gonna go right to that golf flag dead ahead there on the left side of the screen. And we're gonna see like on just a smashed hyzer flip, what kind of line do we get with each disc? And then we'll throw everything on a turnover as well and see how long it'll hold the turn for. First up is the theory. I mean, that's what you're looking for. Release it on hyzer, find its way to flat, and then holds the line all the way to the ground. That's exactly what you want out of your understable mids. Detour. Oh, I yanked it. Finding a very easy turn there. Detour is one of those discs that sometimes you love it, sometimes you hate it. Because if you throw it, you make a little too much power, a little too much anhyzer, that thing's gone, just like you saw there. It's definitely a bit less forgiving than the hex. But the hex also doesn't have the potential to go straight as the detour. This is the hex here. So see, we didn't get that one to flat. It's just gonna hyzer its way all the way to the left. But the theory, the detour, and I think even the matrix are gonna find their way a little bit more straight, even when they're on that hyzer line. Yeah, see, look at the flip that we get out of the matrix even. The matrix has early flight flip and late flight fade, which is super unique. I think that matrix might be like a hidden secret weapon. This is the Echo. More flip than the hex, but still massive late fade over to the left. Let's give everything a throw on like a forced turning anhyzer, and then we'll wrap things up for today's video. I'm gonna give you my final thoughts on the new Echo. All right, so what I'm going to attempt to do here is we have this grouping of trees on the left. I'm gonna try and put them, basically throw them right at the trees, but on either flat or slight anhyzer, depending on the disc, and see if we're gonna get a hold, which I'm really curious. Honestly, the matrix might be the star of the show today. I know I love the theory, but they don't make those anymore. Let's see how versatile these are. We know they can hold hyzers, but can they hold turnovers? Holding a turn all the way to the ground. I knew that one was gonna do that no problem. And I feel like the detour kind of flew like this on the last shot anyway. Yeah, that's an awesome line. Holding turn most of the way and then actually pushing forward at the end of the flight. This is the hex. Holding a turn through most of the flight and then pushing forward and fading a bit more than the detour. This might be my new secret weapon if this thing holds a turn. This is the matrix. Wow. Hopefully you guys can see that. That just held all the way to the, didn't even think about pushing or fading at the end. And then this is the new Plasma Echo here. Put it up high with some nice turn. So the Echo, when put up high on a bit more turn, it held the turn surprisingly long. I think there's some nuance differences in the flight between the Hex and the Echo. On the Hex, when I threw it hard, if I got it to flip to flat, it stayed straight the whole way. But if you didn't quite get it to flat, it was just gonna fade out super hard. The Hex on an Anheuser also faded out super hard, but the Echo on an Anheuser actually held it all the way to the ground. And these nuanced differences are things that only the true disc golf nerds out there can enjoy and appreciate. I happen to be one of those disc golf nerds, and I really enjoy and appreciate the differences between these discs. That Matrix, though, it's a very unique mix of torque resistance, flippy, and overstable. That is the true do-it-all mid-range that I think a lot of us are looking to put in the bag. So that Matrix is actually going to go into the bag. Echo, probably not going to go in the bag. Hex might also go back in the bag. I don't know. The Hex surprised me today. The Echo was good, but didn't blow my mind. But the Matrix did blow my mind. I'm really excited to throw that more. So if you want to see a Matrix video, let me know in the comments down below. discgolfdealsusa.com/icebergtv for 10% off. Ice20 at bergsdiscsports.com. The lowest price we've ever had the bags at is right now. Click my link in the description below. Check the price out for yourself. See you guys in the next video, and take care.